Afternoon, everybody. So do excuse my wet washing hanging there in the background, but once again in lovely New Zealand, it's pouring with rain, and I'm not imagining it. Just for your information, Christchurch Airport reported that since they started their records, this is the fifth wettest year. So there you go. I knew it was. Anyway, so I'm just going to go over the numbers first. I just feel I need to come a little bit closer. There we are. So I had a loss last week, which is good news. I lost 1.5 kilos. So I'm now in the 70s where I wanted to be. So I'm 78.8. And I thought I'd talk about today the totals of what I've lost so far in this 20-week journey so far. And I'll do them through the range of weight measurements that people use around the world. So we'll start with the UK and the old school people and what I used to use as a measurement when I was back there, and that's in stones. So that equates to a loss of 3.6 stones so far. So that's pretty good. And if you're in the States, or if you use pounds as a measurement, it's 50.9 pounds. And then if you use kilos, it's 23.1 kilos. So I'm pretty happy with those results. I mean, I know I had a couple of bad weeks recently, and you know, that's fine. I've put that behind me. I'm celebrating the success. You can't argue with 50 pounds, can you? And I quite like the pounds measurement. It seems a little bit more accurate for me, and I might just stick with pounds from now on. It's easier. So while I'm here, I want to talk about, I haven't actually, first things first, I want to talk about the channel. Obviously, my channel name is Part-Time Vegan, Full-Time Sugar Free. And well, I'm still full-time sugar free, but I'm no longer vegan. So I am going to change the name. I do eat meat, and I'm going to be eating more meat, which I'll explain to you why in a minute. So I thought I would probably do my channel name and base it around some numbers, because I've never really said, you know, I want to lose X amount of weight, or I'm going to lose whatever weight. Because it always seemed so far in the distance for me, and it seemed like a goal that I was never going to reach. But seeing that I've lost, you know, 50 pounds so far, I think that it's time to set a goal now. And I'm setting a goal of 90 pounds, which is 6.4 stones or 40 kgs. So it's nice round figures. 6 stones, 6.5 stones, 40 kgs. And I think that's a good goal to set. That should bring me down to just above the weight I was when I first came to New Zealand, sort of about a half a stone, 7 pounds more than when I came to New Zealand. But, you know, I'm much older now. I'm 14, you know, that was 14 years ago. So I realised that, you know, I'm never going to achieve the weight that I was, you know, back then. So I'm going to be realistic. So I think realistically, 90 pounds is not that far off, you know, for me. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is what I've done different this week. I haven't done a great deal different. I've changed slightly the way I'm eating now. I've decided, my friend's on the keto diet, and she has tried to explain it to me in the past, and I've never really got the general idea of it. But I've watched a couple of videos. One of them is from a Dr. Jason Fung, and I'll put a link to his video down below, and he explains it in that video, just around what the ketogenic lifestyle and fasting. And he feels that fasting is quite important within our lives to get us back on track, and to reset our bodies, if you like, to reset our bodies into burning some of that excessive fat that we are storing for when, you know, years ago, you know, before we were running around, when we were running around, you know, as cavemen and women, you know, killing our own meat and eating our own meat, our diet consisted of mainly meat for one, and secondly, we stored fat for when we needed it. And in today's modern life, we don't need to store fat. We've got 3 meals a day that we can access whenever we want. In actual fact, some people are eating 6 meals a day. I, for one, was one of them. I was eating breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, evening meal, and then I'd be grazing all evening as well. So that's 6 times throughout that day I would be eating. And my stomach and my body is not having a break to digest that food. You get the break between in your sleeping, when you're sleeping, if you go to bed at 10 and you don't eat your breakfast till 8 o'clock, that's good, but it's not enough sometimes to reset your body. So I'm not going to go into all the sciencey and the or not gimmick, but all the reasoning around how it works. But I've listened to this guy and I feel that, he's makes sense what he says. It rings a bell with me, and when I think back to when I was younger, when I was in my late teens and my early 20s, I missed meals all the time. I rarely ate breakfast. I missed lunches. Sometimes I'd have, an evening meal. Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I'd eat during the day. So it was very sporadic how I ate. And believe me, I was extremely skinny. I didn't have any weight issues whatsoever. It was only really when I got married and started having children and started having more of a structured life, where you sort of have your 3 set meals a day within that structure, and I just did eat the 3 meals a day, and then I got bigger and bigger and bigger. So so that's the plan. So the plan is a lot less carbs. Completely getting away from the sugar still. So there's still, again, carbs are sugar. Your body converts them to sugar. So dropping down on the carbs, up in the ante around meat and stuff. So that brings me on nicely to my channel name. I can no longer call it part-time vegan, or full-time sugar-free part-time vegan, because I'm not vegan. So that in effect is a lie, So I need to change the name. So I've decided that I'm probably going to call it something around the numbers. So probably, I don't know, my 90-pound weight loss challenge, or, join me on my weight loss challenge or whatever. But, I will change the name. And if you guys are watching this, you've seen that I've already changed the name. If you subscribe to me, you will still get the notifications. And then any new subscribers will be working with the new name. So that's what I'm going to do. It's just a shift in the way that I'm doing. The vegan thing was brilliant. It kick-started me, gave me like a kick up the backside really to get started and to get me, on that journey. And now I need to adjust my eating pattern and the way I eat accordingly to suit, my lifestyle and my journey to keep on losing weight. So thanks, vegans. You really did help me get started. But I was never a vegan because of my beliefs. It was more around helping me get started on the weight loss journey. And my husband reminded me, actually, he said, when you lost weight way back, the last time I lost weight, which was about probably 18 years ago now, I actually did do the Atkins diet. That was all the rage back then. And I started with the Atkins diet, and then I just, I sort of slipped into calorie count. I think the Atkins diet was causing me some problems at the time, because it's, if you think back, the Atkins diet was quite high fat a diet, which really, so is ketogenic, but you are sort of balancing it more. And so that kick-started me back then. So, these diets are great. They kick-start you, and then you carry on your journey in whatever way that you choose. So like I say, I've chosen the not really strictly ketogenic, because I do struggle with the fact that they don't eat much fruit on this diet, or you don't eat much fruit on this diet, like bananas. A lot of the fruit has got a lot of carbs in them. And I sort of struggle around that a little bit, but about not having fresh fruit. I really like my fresh fruit. So I will have the fruit, but obviously I'll have it in moderation, along with, as you know, I have porridge every morning for my breakfast. And dropping that porridge from my diet is going to be a real struggle for me because it's just easy, it's quick, it's easily available, it's easily made. I make a big container, it lasts me the week, and it's just a case of grabbing it and go. But I may still continue with that, or I may just have it every other day or something like that. The other thing I intend to do is I intend to fast. So when I talk about fast, I'm not talking about great like 40 days and 40 nights or anything ridiculous like that. But I would like to do two sort of 18-hour fasts within my week. So by that I mean, if I eat my meal at 6 o'clock on, say, a Sunday evening, 6 o'clock, then I don't really want to eat again until 12 o'clock, 12 noon on the Monday, because I want to do an 18-hour window fast to give my body time to change into that ketogenic state and to start burning fat that I've laid down for when we're in hunger mode, if you like. So, that's the plan around that. So I intend to do that twice a week. I'm looking at on a Monday night through to Tuesday, a Thursday through to, so I'll spread it out over that week and see how that goes. And it's not that hard, really. Basically, I'm missing breakfast 2 mornings a week. That's not hard, considering when I think back how many meals I used to miss a week was a lot more than that. So anyway, so that's what the plan is, and so hopefully it'll work, and I lost 1.5 kgs this week, and I started this a little bit midweek. Didn't completely swap over, I still had my porridge, I still had some fruit. But I am cutting out a lot of carbs around bread, rice, pasta, which I never ate a lot of anyway. Potatoes as well. Rarely, I can't remember the last time. I had potato. The last time we went out for a meal, I had some mashed potato, which was incorporated in the meal. And I'm having that same meal again this Wednesday on movie night, but I won't be eating the mashed potato this time. So, so cutting out a lot of those high energy, high carbs, which give you lovely loads of energy right away, but then the rest of it just gets laid down on your body as fat. So I don't want that, so we'll be doing that. So what was the other thing I was going to talk about? The other thing is I had a big try-on session the weekend for the clothes that I've got in the wardrobe, and it was surprising actually, because I've got like a whole section of my wardrobe which is what I call sort of dressier, sort of corporate-y sort of wear from when I worked, and I've never really, I haven't wore a lot of that stuff for many years, and so I thought, well, I'll go through that, and out of I think I had 7 skirts. All 7 skirts were too big for me. They're going to charity. I had about 5 dresses. All 5 dresses were too big for me. They're going to charity. And I had about 40 or maybe 50, tops that were, most of them were too big for me. I think I kept about 10 of them in the end that still fitted me or still looked okay. And the rest of them going to charity. So I filled up a bin bag full of stuff for charity, so that's good. So the only other part of my wardrobe that I have to sort out now is the what I call the casual tops stroke t-shirts and woolies, jumpers, or not jumpers but cardigans and things. I got quite a few of those to get through, and the next really bad day, which I think is probably going to be tomorrow, I might go through that lot as well, and then I can just do one big charity run and get rid of it all, because I'm not going back. I'm not keeping it. I'm not going back. It's got to go. I'm moving into a new stage in my life. I'm 57 now. I've got to think about my future and getting older, and I do not want to go back to being large again. I want to sort of maintain a healthy weight and a healthy lifestyle. So that's my next goal there. And another thing I wanted to share with you, I'll just get my coffee a minute. Another thing I wanted to share with you is yesterday I went into our local town, and there's a department store in there, and I thought, oh, I'll go in and I'll just have a little try on. You know, I just want to see what things fit me and what size I am now. And I can tell you, 20 weeks ago, I would have just gone straight for the larger ladies side, Wild Child it's called, sizes, and I would have just tried on in there. I wasn't up in the really high, because I think they do up to size 28, 30. I was down in the sort of large, extra large size, and then it goes, up from there. But I was getting there, and I would have got up there if I hadn't have, kicked myself up the backside to do something about it. So I never ever went to the fashion side of things, where they do the different branded fashions, because I knew none of it would fit me. So just have a, sorry about that. So yesterday I did go to the fashion side, and I had a look around, and there was a bargain rail there, and I had a look through that. And I thought, oh, I'll just take a few things to the change room, see what fits me. So off I went. I took size 14 bottoms, trousers or pants, and I took size 16 tops, and both sizes fitted me. So I'm a 14 at the bottom, I'm a 16 on the top, because I do tend to carry my weight on my core. I tend to have I'm a barrel shape, I don't have any backside as such, but I do have quite, and my thighs are quite big, and around my tummy and stuff are quite big. I don't have a big backside, but like I do, but not normally. When I've lost the weight, I have a small backside. So that was really good, and I thought, oh, that's, I can actually shop in the fashion side of the store now, whereas before I could never do that, or for quite a while, for quite a few years I couldn't do that. That's the dogs, by the way. So I also, I thought about it, and I thought, I remember, it's a bittersweet pill in a way, because when I came to New Zealand, I was a size 8 to 10, as you know, I've said before. And then slowly but surely, I increased my weight. And I can remember, I was working and I was buying corporate wear to work. And I can remember when I reached 12, I swallowed that and thought, oh, well. Then I got to 14 and I swallowed that. When I reached 16, I can remember trying on clothes in the store that were size 16 that fitted and quite tight fitting. And I remember this particular day, I burst into tears in the change room, because I thought, all that hard work I'd done in the last weight loss that I did back in the UK is now just gone out the window. And I didn't stop at 16. I went to 18, 20, extra large, 2XL. So, that was only halfway, 16. But I remember being so upset about it, and I don't remember what decisions I made, if any. I probably had a good cry and left the store, and that was it. I just accepted it. But of course, yesterday I went in the store and I tried on a 16 and a 14 bottoms, and I was over the moon. So, it just goes to show, on whatever end of the spectrum you are, you can be happy about being one size, or you can be really bad about being one size. So it just goes to show how hard it is, for people who's losing weight. And my husband said to me, what's a number? I said, it means everything. It is all in the numbers. £1 is better than half a pound. Size 14 is better than size 16. Being 9.5 stone as opposed to 13.5 stone or beyond, it's all in the numbers. And it is, I don't know about other women listening to this, but it certainly is for me. So, being a size 16 top, 14 bottom, I'll accept that as an achievement, and I'm quite happy with that at the moment, but I'm not stopping there. So anyway, I think I've covered everything. I had to write a little quick list about what I wanted to talk about, and I see the video's getting up for 20 minutes, so that's probably twice as long as I normally do. But I just wanted to give you some more information on how I'm going in to explain the name change. And yeah, so thanks for any new subscribers. I do appreciate your support. and my older subscribers, thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. I do enjoy doing these videos. Sometimes I think about uploading a midweek video if I'm feeling a bit stressed or struggling and stuff, but I push through it and I just sort of stick to the weekly ones, and I think I look forward to making the weekly ones a little bit more. Look at these two. The weather's terrible. I did take them out for a walk this morning. I took them into our local town and took them to the dog park, and I marched around the park and they all ran off and played with their doggy pals. But they are due to go out in a minute, so they're just about ready for it, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you next week, which will be week 21. Bye.